and welcome to Kids Corner on Armstrong Channel 20. I'm Miss Krista, and I'm so excited today to be at Campbell Elementary School with Mrs. Spurrio's and Mrs. Pecchia's classes. Do you wear hats? Think of all the different hats you have. You probably have a baseball hat. You probably have a winter hat to keep your head and your ears warm. I love hats, and so does the main character in our book today, Zara's hats. We're going to talk about all the different hats that this little girl creates, because you can create your own hat, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. Using special newspaper print paper, we are going to make our very own hats. And there's lots of things for the kids to decorate their hats with, and anything you find around the house can work. All you need is glue and maybe some cotton swabs, some markers, and lots of creativity. We're using feathers, and we have paper cutouts of hearts, and we have stars and little hearts, and even lots of gems. And of course, I got this all at the local craft store. Very inexpensive, very easy to do with the crowd. I hope that you love our book and our craft. And if you would like Armstrong to come to your school, have a grown-up email us at channel20, that's channel20 at agoc.com. I think I hear our classes coming now. Let's get ready. Who had a hat on last night? Who had a hat on? I had a hat on, huh? Did you? Okay. We had I had a hood. Oh, good. So we all had to wear something really to cover our ears, right? No, you were okay? You were good? Miss Krista was cold. I wore earmuffs from Justice because they were my kids, and I wore a hood, and I still got wet, but it was okay because we had a lot of fun. We just have to know how to dress, right? Yeah. What are some other times that you might wear a hat? Let me see, what are some other times you might wear a hat?
In the snow.
In the snow, very good, bravo. What about you? What are some other times in the back?
In the winter.
In the winter? What are some other times? I think about other times. You wear hats all year long. What about you, little girl?
Oh, when it's sunny and sun get in our eyes, we can wear a hat so our eyes will be shaded.
Bravo. What about you in the back there? Yeah.
Sometimes when spring comes, sometimes we can wear them in spring.
Oh, that's true. In the spring, sure.
You can wear them in autumn.
You can wear them, sure. What about if you go to, like to a fancy party? Wear a hat to a fancy party? No, Miss Krista doesn't get to go to many fancy parties, so. You never get to go to parties either? We could hang out, kid. What about you?
You can wear a cap on really sunny days.
Oh, like a cap? Well, who plays sports? Who plays like baseball? Who wears a hat when they play baseball? Who wears a baseball hat? Who plays football? Well, you wear a hat then. Who plays soccer? Do you wear a hat when you play soccer? No, my kids play soccer too. You wear shin guards, right? Yeah.
But the only thing we can't wear hats is in school.
In school, you're right, because boys especially don't wear hats in school because it's disrespectful, right? It's a sign of respect to take your hat off when you enter a building, huh? Yes?
And we put a hat on when we ride our bike.
Oh, you're right. You put a hat on when you ride your bikes, don't you? A bike helmet. Yeah. What about you, superstar student?
You can wear a hat in the rain.
You do. You wear a rain hat. Well, we have lots of different hats, and guess what? Who makes your hats? Who makes your hats?
The store.
The store. The store makes your hat.
Factory.
Factories make your hat.
China.
China makes your hats.
You can make your own hat.
You can make your. Ah, interesting. You say that, dear sir. You can make your own hats, and guess what? That's what we're going to do. But first, we are going to read about a little girl who made her own hats to help out her dad. Yeah.
You can needle it.
You can needle it. Do you know how to sew? Do you know who knows how to sew? Well, somebody needs to sew Miss Krista a hat because I have no idea how to sew. Yeah. My mom grew up right down the street from here. My mom went to Campbell. And that's why we love Campbell Elementary School, because my mom went to Campbell Elementary School, and guess how she got to school? Well, no, she didn't use her legs. The way she got here, there were no wheels.
Walk, bike?
And she didn't, there wasn't a bike, but it did move fast.
Walk?
She didn't walk. It was
I'm about to say a motorcycle.
faster than that. I'm sure she would have loved a motorcycle. It wasn't a motorcycle. It wasn't a car. They didn't really have, I think they only had one car back then. It was a horse. My mom used to drive her horse to school because she lived, because back in the day, Campbell was almost all farms. And she lived on a farm, and they grew chickens and cows, and she had a horse, and she used to drive her horse to school. So, how far back was that? Well, I'm not supposed to tell my mom's age, but it was far back. But it wasn't as far back as our story. Now, Zara's hats is a true story, and this happened in the early 1900s. So let's say like 1915. It wasn't as like 100 years ago. Okay, we'll say 1913. So it wasn't as far back as that. But it was far enough back that there were farms, and horses, and chickens, and cows.
How do you grow a cow?
How do you grow a cow? Well, very carefully, I'll tell you that, because they get pretty big. So Zara's hat is written by Paul Meisel. Selig, the hat maker, loved to make hats. Zara, his daughter, loved to help him. Every day after school, Zara would rush home to the tiny apartment above the hat shop and drop off her books. Then she would hurry downstairs to join her mother, Leonora, and her father in the workroom, where the sewing machine always whirred and the heavy iron hissed. Zara loved the feel of the soft fabrics as she cut them. She loved the texture of the shiny ribbons when she tried large loopy bows. And all the feathers. Selig's hats were famous for having the most exquisite feathers. Do you know, who knows what exquisite means? What does exquisite mean? They're just the best, huh? Exquisite, the best and the fanciest. Glue this feather like so, Selig would tell her. Then put these two over here like this, and now it's done. Another masterpiece, Papa, Zara always said, trying on the finished hat. Good enough for the president's wife, her father would agree. Bravo, my clever Zara. Kids are pretty smart, huh? Yeah. Isn't life wonderful? Selig often asked, and life was wonderful. The bell on the hat shop door jingled busily. Oh, Mr. Selig, you are a genius, Loretta Falsetta, the famous opera singer, trilled whenever she bought a hat. This hat will be perfect for the firefighter's ball, exclaimed Brenda Hookenladder, the fire chief's wife. What an extraordinary hat this is, exclaimed Frances Fuzzbottom, the famous dog breeder. Look, puppies, do you like it? Puppies don't wear hats, do they?
No.
My puppy did last night. Yeah. Did she? Yeah. She was a spider for Halloween.
Some dogs. My dog is a breeder.
One day, Zara was decorating a hat for the fire chief's wife. 2 more red feathers and it will be another masterpiece, she said to her father. I'm afraid there are no more red, he replied. But use these 2 yellow ones. I'm sure you'll do something clever with them. Good enough for Mrs. Hookenladder or even the president's wife. Tomorrow, I will buy more. A few days later, Zara raced home only to find the lights out in the shop and her father sitting at his cutting table looking sad. What's the matter, Papa? She asked. It's the feathers, Zara dear, answered Selig. I'm afraid we've run out. Can't you get more? I've tried everywhere, Selig said with a sigh. There seems to be no more feathers anywhere in the city. They could be on chickens. You're right. Maybe they need to go find them some chickens, right? Agreed, and hens. That would make for one really mad chicken, though, probably. Happened. It wasn't long before there were no more hats in Selig's shop either. As each day passed, he grew more melancholy. Who knows what melancholy means? What do you think melancholy means?
I think it's like a kind of fruit.
Okay, I like that. Who else? Who else thinks what melancholy means? What do you think melancholy? Close.
Like a watermelon. That's really.
So it's not a food, it's a feeling. Melancholy is a type of feeling. What do you think it means, Heart Girl?
It means it smells.
It smells? Well, no. What do you think it means?
Flowers?
Flowers. No, it's a feeling like you know how a feeling like happy or mad or excited. What do you think melancholy means? Now, you know he ran out of feathers. So he was pretty sad earlier. So what do you think melancholy means?
Mad.
Close to mad. You're close. You're getting warmer. You're getting warmer. What do you think it means? Sad, but not just any sad. Really, 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 really sad. Yep. He needed to make hats to be happy. He needed feathers to make hats.
Only for fancy hats.
He wanted to make his exquisite hats, right? Finally, Selig couldn't stand it anymore. If the feathers wouldn't come to him, he would have to go to the feathers. Don't worry, my darlings, he said to Zara and Leonora as he boarded a steamer headed for far-off places. I will return with many fine feathers, and the bell on the hat shop door will once again be jingling. You had to work pretty hard to get things back then, right? You couldn't just Google them. You couldn't just go to Amazon. Selig sailed for many weeks. The rough seas made him seasick. He traveled by elephant and camel and dugout canoe. But wherever he was, he always sent Zara and Leonora postcards so they would know he was thinking of them. An elephant, that is an elephant. And look, he had to write letters. Do you still write letters? Right? Who writes a letter instead of tweeting? Cool. Meanwhile, Zara and her mother were missing Selig terribly. Zara's heart sank each day when she returned home from school and saw the empty shop window. To cheer themselves up, Zara and her mother took long walks in the park. You have a pretty nice park on Campbell, don't you? Roosevelt Park. Zara fed bits of bread to the ducks and swooped up and down on the carousel. Sometimes she joined a group of children watching a puppet show or bought hot roasted chestnuts from the cart man. But absolutely nothing could take the place of her father. Then one day, on the way home from the park, Zara had an idea. What do you think her idea is? I don't know either. Kids are pretty smart though. She ran through the empty hat shop directly to the little workroom where she began cutting leaves out of fabric and gluing them to wire. She twisted brightly colored ribbons into flowers of all sorts. She modeled her favorite fruits and animals out of paper mache. When they were dry, Zara painted them with the brightest colors in her paint box. Next, she sewed and penned and glued what she had made to some of her father's unfinished hats. She arranged the hats on the empty stands in the shop window. There, she said, now it's not so lonely. When Zara came home from school the next day, a small crowd was gathered in front of the little hat shop. You see the fishbowl hat? I don't think my fish would be very happy about that. I simply must have that hat in the window, said Mrs. Zernacle as Zara let her inside. It will make my nose look less pink. Huh? What? And that one is precious, exclaimed Dolly McFizzle. I don't know where it came from, but it is divine. please wrap it up. My cats will simply adore this hat, purred Miss Katrina Catnip. What? You want to buy these hats? Asked Zara. Yes, shouted the women. In no time at all, Zara had the hats in boxes and the window was empty once again. That night, Zara and her mother made new hats, and the next day, those hats too were sold. Word spread quickly. Everyone loved Zara's hats. Not long after that, Selig returned from his journey, his heart swelling with joy at the thought of seeing his family again. Nevertheless, he was worried too. He had not been able to find a single feather to bring back. What would they do? But as he approached the little hat shop, he was shocked by what he saw. It was not empty and dark as he had expected. Instead, the window was filled with the most amazing hats he had ever seen, and the shop was crowded with customers. Papa! Shouted Zara when the little bell jingled and she saw her father coming through the door. Oh, how I missed you, Selig said, wrapping his arms around Zara in a big hug. And my dear wife, too. He smiled at Leonora and kissed her warmly. But what has happened here? He looked around in astonishment. What hats are these? The empty hat stands made me feel sad, Papa, said Zara. So I decorated some hats and put them in the windows. The hat shop suddenly became very quiet. I thought these were from Paris, said Mrs. Fizzleworth. You made these extraordinary hats? Why, yes, said Zara. I hope you're not mad at me, Papa. Selig looked around at the fabulous hats and all of the happy customers. Mad? How could I be mad? These hats are amazing, stupendous. I am so proud of you, he exclaimed. Even the president's wife would love them. Bravo, my clever Zara. Everyone in the hat shop clapped except for Loretta Falsetta, who trilled. What does it mean to trill? Who can trill? Can you trill? What do you think it means?
It means like try and stand up to someone.
Well, stand up, but with something, not with your legs, but your voice. Who thinks they could trill? Like sing like an opera star. Let's hear it. Oh, bravo. From that day on, wait, I've got to laugh first. That was great. From that day on, Selig, Leonora, and Zara kept the hat shop filled with Zara's hats. Who needed feathers? People came from near and far to see the little hat maker and to buy her hats. Bakers and duchesses, mountain climbers and firefighters, musicians, veterinarians, baseball players, and even the president's wife. I wonder how President Obama's wife would look. Michelle would look in a hat like that, huh? I bet she would look fantastic. And that's what each of you are going to do. You are going to make a hat fit for the president or the president's wife using nothing but newsprint paper. All this is newsprint paper. Like when you see a newspaper, this is the paper it's printed on. That's it. You're going to make your own hat, you're going to fashion it, and we're going to get some tape on it so it doesn't fall apart. And I have feathers and gems and hearts and stars and all kinds of things for you to decorate your hats with. Let's get our friends over here. And I just bought this paper at a craft store And you can buy it all in a big pad, or you can even use, if you have a newspaper at home, just use your newspaper. So here is what we do. You see that it's wide like this, okay? Take it that way and fold it in half, okay? You can keep it down. You don't have to lift it up to fold it, but fold it in half so that you have one really long piece. Now what you want is you want the end close to you. You want the end close to you. So now what you do, look, the opening, have the opening of the paper toward you, like it's eating your belly. Have the opening of the paper toward you like it's eating your belly. Num, num, num. Now you are going to take one corner. You are going to take one corner and you're going to fold it down to the bottom like a triangle. All I did was make a triangle down to a triangle. You are going to take the other corner of the paper, the other side, and now you're going to fold the other side down into a triangle. Just what you did on the one side, but on the other side. To do a couple things to your paper, but I think we're going to help you out with it because we have to bend up the edges into the newspaper, into the hat rim. So we'll open up the openings and we'll bend it up, and it's okay if it tears. I have tape because it's likely going to. I am passing out Q-tips. We're going to use these as your glue paintbrushes. You dip them in the glue, you put a little bit on your paper, and then you can start putting your decorations on, okay? We're gonna come around and help everyone. Whew. Well, I am taking a break from cleaning up from Kids Corner at Campbell Elementary School with Mrs. Spurios and Mrs. Pecchia's first grade classes. We had a great time making hats out of newsprint paper and decorating them with feathers and gems and hearts and stars. As you can see, Miss Krista still needs to decorate her hat, but the kids' hats look great. We also got to read the book Zara's Hats by Paul Meisel and learn all about a very creative little girl who learned how to make hats for her father's hat shop. Hope that you love this book and our craft, and if you would like Armstrong to come to your school, have a grown-up email us at channel20, that's channel20@agoc.com. This is Miss Krista for Kids Corner on Armstrong Channel 20. I hope you have a great day.